Boss, good evening. I'm just doing like a home training here in Italy, just outside my place. So I just thought of sharing how you can use Kizamizuki or Gyakuzuki to score. I use basic movements and basic stances. I won't have to use complicated stances. Like we always say, in a street fight, we may not have that time to prepare. So in this case, someone just needs to have a simple stance, shizen dachi, if you a front view of it like this, a diagonal view of it like this. So I prefer using open palms like this, but it depends on the preference. Some they prefer um, holding their fists. Some they prefer taking the stance a bit away from the body to keep away the opponent. But in this case, I'll just use this one. So basically, when we're trying to score using Kizamezuki, usually when we extend from here, we cannot reach the opponent. Or if we extend the Gyakuzuki from here, we cannot reach the opponent. So usually, what we do, we have to step in a bit so that from this position, you're able to reach the opponent there. Or if it's Gyakuzuki, we need to step in so that we go a bit towards that range of that person, then we hit them. So the way we do it, from this position, the movement that we do, we won't really have to, if it's a Gyakuzuki, we won't really have to take the punch backwards this side and then punch in, no. Or taking this hand back to the hip and then punching, that becomes slow because we're trying to catch our opponent unaware. So in this case, from here, we go in by just floating a bit backwards. When we just drop back a bit halfway, from here, that's where the punchy comes out from. So here you can bring the hand close here, or for some they prefer taking back there. For some they prefer leaving it here. Some they prefer just bringing it like that, depending on your preference. But what we are saying is, this hand, for it to be fast, it has to come only halfway and then out. So in this case, if you want to explosively go out with a Kizamezuki, you can go something like when you are there, the opponent is coming towards you, we're trying to go in that range with a quick movement. So you have to go in like so you don't need to draw back, but from here you have just to do a bit of some movement, then out. As you go out, the hip also comes out with it. So from here you just go out, you hit and come back to defensive position. We're seeing that halfway, then out, then come back. If you are trying to do even 1, 2, you can go then you go in. You can go, if it's down, up, you go in. So you go in, up, so from here you go in the range, out, in. Or sometimes you can just go with a straight Gyakuzuki. Straight Gyakuzuki, it means from here you may not have to pull back all the way. You just need to extend in from this same position and then use the hip to go in, because Gyakuzuki you have to use the force of the hip there. So as you go in here, you just have to use the hip and the stepping in movement. So you go in. Sometimes you may need to fake in as if you want to fake in this hand. And this hand is faking. You are trying to draw the guard upwards so that then this one hammers in. So you draw up, you hit. Sometimes then sometimes from this position, when you fake, you go in and someone has to come. I mean, you're able to respond with kicks, but anyway, we're not using kicks in this case. We're just using hands. So it's very important sometimes to, when as you are faking, to take this hand out. This hand, as you fake, the opponent will follow the hand so that they remain open this side, then you hammer in. At times, when we hit 1 and 2, then hammer the last one. The first 2, the first one you will see it. The second one, because you'll be quick, you want to go like, you are here and go like, so as you go 1, he may block, which may disturb him. As you go up, probably it will draw the guard there. Then here will remain open. Then you go in. At times, what we do instead, from here, instead of going in 1, 2, we may use this hand for distancing. sometimes the opponent is coming in with that, vigorous movement. And you don't want, by the time you hammer, then the opponent is in your range. So this time, as the opponent is coming, you extend out with this hand held firmly to block the opponent from coming in. So that as you punch this one, it's direct on range. Then it will be a straight punch to hit the target on the proper distance that you have calculated and with the maximum force. So we can just keep practicing Kizamizuki and also Gyakuzuki. Then we perfect our movements and then we are home and dry. Of course.